Hi guys, and welcome back to another F-Series Friday. So as you can see, I'm joined by Beef, Kez and Steph today, and today we are going to be talking about if there should be more teams in F1. So I'm just going to start off with that question and put it to you lovely ladies. Should there be more teams in F1? Discuss.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry, I was very delayed then.
End of video. End of video.
Done.
Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe.
So yeah, like I was obviously thinking about this idea, and I was just thinking, if there was more teams in F1 like F2, do you think it would make the season more exciting because we would have more teams to participate, and it might break up the midfield, might spice it up at the back a little bit, you know, like Williams actually fighting someone, Haas actually fighting someone. So I just want to know what you feel about that.
I think when it comes to should we have more or less teams, sometimes people say, well, having more of something doesn't actually mean that it's going to be any better. Sometimes less is more, you know what I'm saying? Like quality over quantity. But I think in Formula One's case, like it doesn't really matter where the teams would be, as long as we didn't have a situation where we had like Mercedes all the way at the front like they have done for many years until hopefully this year, and then having Williams so far the back like in 2019. I think it's only a positive thing, and it gives more drivers a chance to actually get to compete in Formula One, and I think it would just give fans just a little bit of something else, because we're at the point with Formula One now that if we actually lose another team, Formula One could be in big trouble, and we don't want to see that. So we want more teams to keep Formula One thriving and keep us lot happy and entertained.
Yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from, but I also disagree. Sorry. I think that I would rather have the 10 teams on the grid right now, but have them actually be competitive, because putting another team on the grid does not increase racing, or does not necessarily increase the competitiveness of the field. So that needs to be kind of almost where we focus at the minute, because if we have another team, but it finishes at the back of the grid, and finishes at the back in the Constructors' Championship and is only earning like $50 million in terms of prize.
Wow, budget queen.
$50 million in terms of prize revenue, then that team is not going to have the funds to be able to succeed. So we could see that team in Formula One, but if we haven't worked on the competitivity, why do I keep saying competitivity? The competitiveness of the field. If that hasn't been fixed, then there's no point having another team, because that team will still struggle in Formula One and then probably run out of money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think going off from that, there's been so many teams that want to come into Formula One. I know Campos are a kind of a junior series team, and they were looking at coming into the sport in 2022. We had people like Jaguar, Porsche, all them names thrown around, but actually all these manufacturers, they see how expensive Formula One is, and they see that Formula One, especially with, you know, the moving world of the environment and, you know, all of that jazz, you know, going forward, the future is electric. And then why would they put millions and millions and millions of pounds in, I was going to say billions, maybe not billions, millions of their money into Formula One when we still have an issue, like Steph said, with everyone being uncompetitive? Why would they not just say, go to Formula E like they have done, spend half as much money and have a competitive racing field, and probably that series will end up, you know, going a lot further than Formula One, because they are doing the right thing now and they are making change now. So that is kind of one of the biggest issues, I think. But I would like to see more teams on the field. I mean, we've got 11 teams in Formula 2, we have got 12 teams in Formula E, so I do like having maybe one or two extra teams. There's no harm in that. I think especially when you watch like a Formula 2 race or even a Formula 3 race, I know that they've got 3 drivers in the team, but it's nice to see more. I don't know why, I feel like it's nice to see a couple more drivers on the grid, and sometimes I look at the Formula 1 field and I feel like, oh, one more team would be just so good. So maybe just one more team, 2 more teams max, and I think we would have a good show.
Yeah, that sort of leads quite nicely onto my second point, because I was thinking like more teams, that means F1 are getting more money, you know, like more sponsors. Do you think by having like more teams, more sponsors, that it could actually like sort of change the way that it, like the money side is run? Because obviously you're bringing in more sponsors. That's why a lot of drivers get their seats, because they have the sponsors. So how do you think if you was having more teams that would affect like sort of money wise?
it kind of worries me a little bit because we have seen a lot of teams rely on pay drivers in the past. And if you are a new team in Formula One and you're struggling for the cash to afford it, are you going to kind of go more down the pay driver route than you are the good racing driver route? Because honestly, could you see Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen go into a random new team that had started up and they don't know how competitive they're going to be? No. So you're not going to be able to get the best drivers on the grid. So are you then going to go for pay drivers over quality drivers? That's kind of where I'm getting at with this. So that could then be to the detriment of this hypothetical new team if they go for the pay drivers over the quality drivers, but also like the best quality drivers will probably not be on the radar for these new teams. So you're looking at, solid midfield drivers like maybe Nico Hulkenberg, for example. He could be a good shout to get into that team. He's not the best of the best, but he's not the worst of the worst. So
he's a very well-rounded, experienced driver.
That's the one, yeah. So Nico Hulkenberg's got a lot going for him. So he's a great option. But then you're going to go with someone like Roy Nassani, who brings, the funds and isn't a bad driver. Depends where the team's going. It's a rhetorical question.
I mean, I think... Oh my god, my brain. No, I think the way to sort of solve that issue is obviously we want more teams in Formula 1. What else do we want? We want more junior teams, don't we? We all love a junior team. We all want to see it because I feel like this whole pathway to Formula 1 where we obviously have karting levels, F4, and then we eventually get into FIA, F3, F2, and then into F1. It seems like if you have that junior team, I don't know, it feels like it makes the ladder more complete, and it doesn't mean that it's just a team that's just there for the sake of it. It sort of serves more of a purpose than just being a team that might be hanging around the back of a field for a couple of years before they eventually drop off because they've got no money. It's why AlphaTauri have been so successful, because they have had the support of pushing juniors through all the way through, and it means that essentially Red Bull can sort of, double their sponsorship. Not entirely, but we think AlphaTauri, we instantly think Red Bull, and I don't know why more teams don't try to consider it, because I think in the long run it might actually be helpful towards whatever big goal they're going for. And it's we all know that one seat in Alfa Romeo is a Ferrari seat. We all know that as fans. Why isn't that sort of made more obvious like AlphaTauri is as a Red Bull junior team? So I think it's all about trying to find, okay, we want more teams in Formula 1, but what is the best way to go around this? And I do think junior teams are the answer.
Yeah, I think the reason why Alfa Romeo aren't considered the actual junior team is just because they purely aren't owned by Ferrari. It's just kind of you help me out. They just have that kind of bond rather than actual ownership. AlphaTauri actually has the ownership of, their owners are Red Bull, basically. But you could look back to 5-6 years ago when we had Manor on the grid. They were kind of seen as a Mercedes junior team. They had Esteban Ocon in there, they had Pascal Wehrlein in there. Obviously they weren't around for too long, and again the money went and they had to leave the sport. So again, I don't know how much money Mercedes might have given to Manor, or whether they did give Manor any, but in that situation, and I talk about Manor a lot because I feel like Manor were the perfect junior team for Mercedes, especially as Williams are hoping to climb themselves back up the field, especially when they had Claire. She was like, no way am I being a junior team. However, Manor would have done that. So if Mercedes could have put some money into it, like say Ferrari might put money into Alfa Romeo, then maybe we would have had a good situation. And that's kind of what I look at. You look at Renault and you look at, oh my god, they're not called Renault anymore. You look at Alpine and you look at Mercedes, and you're like, you don't have anywhere to put your drivers. And it would be nice, as all of us are fans of the feeder series, it would be nice for us to see them junior drivers be able to make a step up into Formula 1, because there are a lot of Ferrari seats. If you look at it, there are a lot of Ferrari seats. And, we've got Mercedes juniors that have, fallen off from this. Obviously Pascal Wehrlein fell off. We've had Esteban Ocon that's been in a bit of trouble. And, just to have one or two more teams just to secure these top drivers a seat, I think would be perfect. So I do think we need a kind of junior team. Whether it's a actual junior team, I don't really care. It's either...
Or a sister team.
Yeah, I don't care if it's under this actual umbrella of Mercedes, or, they are just classed as a junior team, as long as they're getting some financial backing and that they are able to show the talent of the young drivers coming up, then that's all that matters.
I think one thing as well, just to quickly bounce off that as well, is I think maybe, I don't know how you guys feel, but maybe we're in danger of every single like driver we see coming up the field now is part of like a junior academy of some kind. And I kind of like, in my mind, I kind of like supporting the underdog a little bit. That person that's not got any backing, that person that we're
like
all
Felipe
absolutely
Drugovich.
rooting for. Well, yeah, we've got Felipe, we've got we've got Petkov in F2.
Petkov.
We have Petkov, who literally we're all like, please set up a GoFundMe so we can fund your entire career, because we will do it. And I think if we had more teams, which were like junior teams or sister teams, it would mean that we would still be able to see those drivers who haven't necessarily got the backing from a junior academy to still be able to come up through the ranks, and we can hopefully still get like those success stories, because I think it would be sad if we didn't see any more of those little success stories. It would make me sad.
Just like bouncing off of your point.
Whoa!
Stop bouncing, everyone! Stop bouncing!
Why did I just do that? I was going to say, I really don't like junior teams. I mean, no, I shouldn't say that. I like junior teams in principle, but I don't want all of the bottom teams to be junior teams. And it is partly because of what you were saying, Beth, about you want the underdog to come through, but they're less likely to come through if there are junior teams on the grid, because everyone's going to want to use people from their academy. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to see people outside of the academies come into those teams unless they are desperate.
All their name's Alpine.
A driver.
And they'll just put anyone in there apart from a junior.
Also true. But what I was getting at with that is that I kind of love the fact that McLaren don't have a junior team, because where did Lando Norris go? He went straight into the big team, and look at him now.
They do have a junior program.
They have,
but they don't have a junior team.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
he went straight into McLaren.
You said junior program.
Oh, sorry, that's not what I meant.
I'm really confused. Lando was in it.
What? My bad. And Lewis at the same time as well. They both jumped straight into the McLaren, and it's really exciting. Like, I almost would have loved George to jump straight into the Mercedes. I know that people keep saying he's had time to be in the midfield and he's had time to learn and grow as a driver, and that's all well and good, but not every driver needs that. I mean, look at Lewis Hamilton's inaugural season in 2007. He basically won the championship. So part of me just loves the idea of drivers not having to have those designated 2 years or 3 years at a bottom team before they're allowed to make it to the top team. And I think it also makes it more exciting as well, because you have that unpredictability of having a rookie in an actual midfield team and not just chilling around at the back as a back marker.
Yeah.
You know? Does that make sense?
Just to finish off the round of bouncing that we've all done, my point is bouncing off of that, and my point was just like, you would like, if we had an extra team, like, even if it was just one extra team, that's 2 seats where I know you might get a pay driver just in case they have no money, but that's 2 seats where 2 good drivers can come in and take part, because as we've seen this year, like going into this season, obviously we all wanted Callum Ilott to take that seat, whereas he couldn't take that seat because the pay driver coming down. We might still have that issue, but like people like Nico Hulkenberg, like you said, actual Alpine juniors, they might be able to come up. Like people who have been in F2 for so long that they can't go anywhere else but like Formula E or another series, like what Callum Ilott's doing. So I do think that would also like benefit them, but obviously like you've still got the issue of pay drivers. So my next question to you guys, and I don't know, like this might be controversial, but I want to know what team you would introduce that is already around. So it could be a Prema, could be a Carlin, could be a Dam, so like a Campos. Who would you bring into Formula One?
Ooh.
I can. All your faces, you just look.
You know what? When the story came out a couple of years ago that Campos wanted to come into Formula 1 in 2022, one of the drivers which were going to come with them was Pascal Wehrlein. So I'm very inclined to say Campos, because that was the route they were going to go down. But honestly, Campos are a team which are very independent, and they don't go with, like you could say, Prema. They will just go with Ferrari Juniors mainly, bar Oscar Piastri. So you kind of know what you would expect from a Prema. So I'm more inclined to go with Campos to see whether they could do that, and maybe they could bring someone like Pascal Wehrlein back. # justice for Pascal. Still not over it. Or maybe Manor back. I would love to see Manor back as well. There's so many teams that you could think of. Obviously, like I would love to see Porsche in Formula 1. Like that would be amazing. But I feel like they're quite solidified in Formula E now, and I think they want to build on that. So I wouldn't even bother trying to touch them. So I'm gonna say Campos. Yeah.
I'm going to take a Formula E team because Audi have said that they're leaving Formula E after this era. So I think they've got one more year of Formula E and then they're leaving.
I think they're done this year, aren't they?
Yeah, it's after
I thought they were done at the end of Well, now I'm
No, I
sad.
don't know. I don't know. Sorry.
R.I.P. Rene Rast and Lucas de Grassi's
Rene.
Formula E careers.
No, Renee!
Anyway, I would definitely bring in Audi or BMW. I think they're leaving Formula E as well, so everyone is just leaving Formula E. Let's come back to Formula One. I mean, these iconic brands, I think there would be a lot of sponsorship that comes with them. I think that they would definitely have a point to prove. And because they're so iconic, Audi and BMW are like two of the biggest car manufacturers in the world. So for them to come back to Formula One, I think it would definitely bring a lot of money, it would bring a lot of attention, and I think it would be very nostalgic and reminiscent of the past. So I would love to see them coming in, especially because they are departing Formula E now, so I would like to still see them chilling on the grid in one of the motorsport series that I do watch.
So basically, Steph wants like a second Aston Martin, an iconic, like historic brand that's coming back to the sport.
I mean, let's not talk about Aston.
Yeah, we won't talk about that because we see how well that's going at the moment. Honestly, I think I would purely want a junior team for all the Alpine guys because I'm sick and tired of Alpine juniors just being absolutely just left for dead. And I just want some kind of justice. Even if it was just like one seat for a junior.
What about UNI?
That would be great.
Or uni, as you like to call it.
Oh my god. No, I think I will still stick with the fact that I do think having junior teams, it's like it gives that one extra step towards becoming part of a big team in Formula One, which I think a lot of young drivers actually need to be able to get through the field, because not everyone is a Lando Norris or a Lewis Hamilton that can jump straight into a McLaren and give performances, because like we saw what happened to Alex Albon and Pierre Gasly when it got put into Red Bull. I know there's other issues
but look
with that.
but look what happened with Max Verstappen when he went into the Red Bull.
I know, but you can't like
He won his first race.
You can't judge it for everyone. Yeah, but also two Mercedes crashed, so
And also, he did have the reputation of crash habits.
So, but I really support the idea with junior teams, and I think they do help a lot of drivers develop, and a lot of them actually blossom to where they should be. I mean, look at Seb having his little moment in Monza, his Toro Rosso, and then what happened? He became like quadruple world champion. So, a junior team, please. That would be nice. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, so I'm just going to put a last question out there, very similar to one I just asked, but if you was a brand new team, so take your teams that you just chose, what two drivers would you put in your teams? Obviously, you can choose paid drivers, you can choose junior drivers, you can bring people back.
I don't know why you're giving me this question. Remember when we did a dream team and the drivers that I chose?
I'm hoping that you've grown up since then. So.
Right, that was so bad. What did you say? Sainz and Barrichello?
I said Sainz and Barrichello. So let me go last. Let me actually think about it.
Yeah, let Beth actually think about it. So I'm going to choose Steph because Kira's got a drink.
No. Oh no. Well, I don't think Lewis Hamilton's coming to my team, is he?
No,
he's just.
Wait, no, we're talking about drivers that aren't.
Yeah, not currently.
Yeah.
Not currently.
Yeah, but technically, if I was coming into the sport next year, Lewis Hamilton would be out of the contract.
No,
so
we're not
technically I
going
could-
down
No,
that.
we're doing
No.
ones that aren't in F1 right now.
We're not doing that. No one's available.
Okay.
She doesn't want anyone. She's not coming to the grid.
Right, I'd say Gianluca Petkov, but he needs a bit of time in Formula 2, so he can be the reserve driver.
Okay.
And a junior. This is so annoying. I don't know. You've really put me on the spot here. I do love Lucas de Grassi as a driver, so maybe I'd take him from the Audi team and bring him back to Formula 1. So,
well, I'm not competing then. I'm out.
All right.
I'm out.
Bye. See ya.
I'm not joining the grid.
And who else will I have? I'll have Oscar Piastri actually.
I want an Oscar Piastri.
Sorry, you snooze, you lose.
Kira, you are next.
Okay, so my first.
I want to bring back Pascal Vernon.
Why didn't I say Nick de Vries?
So I want
Oh
to bring
no,
back
it's fine.
Pascal
He
Vernon.
can chill in Formula E. Sorry.
Sorry, you lagged then, so I don't have a clue what you said. Anyway, Pascal Wehrlein I want to bring back, and I'm going to plug my own channel a little bit here. I actually done a video all about this on my channel, and it infuriates me every time I think about it. So Pascal Wehrlein's time definitely was not over in the Mercedes/Manor situation. So I would bring back Pascal Wehrlein 100 million %. Time wasn't done. Now, second driver, I do need to pick a junior right here. This is very difficult. I'm going to look in the Formula 2 field. I'm going to see who I think is ready. You've taken Oscar. I really wanted Oscar. Could I take Callum Ilott? Justice for Callum? I don't know. Do you know what? I'm really leaning towards Liam Lawson right now. I don't know what it is. I just feel like there's a lot of potential in that guy, and I just would like to get him out of that Red Bull situation. So I think a lineup of Pascal Wehrlein and Liam Lawson. I'll take that. Yeah.
Yeah, that I would love that actually, Kira. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're now all becoming fans of Kira's new team. Okay.
Pretty much.
I've had a think, and I still think you're gonna bully me. But anyway,
No.
we're gonna roll.
Rubens
with it.
can't come back.
I think he's got something left in him, you know. No, I think I'm going to bring Nico Hulkenberg into my team.
Okay.
Dorney?
I had to represent Dorney because she's not here. No, because I think a lot of us, when he did leave Formula 1, there was quite a few of us, we were like, no, it's like not his time. Like, it's unfortunate, but we can see how it's happened. And then he more than proved his worth in the 2020 season to come back, to qualify like P3 on one of the races. Like, absolute legendary behaviour. I think he is a driver that you can count on a lot of the time, especially like if you've got like that like midfield car, which you're not going to get the podiums with, but you need those consistent points to be able to just do that little bit better than the other teams which you're competing with. I feel like Nico's a really good driver for that. With juniors, and I don't know why I'm thinking this, but I'm just really intrigued. If Dan Tipton didn't have as much bad luck as he had, and you gave him a chance in a Formula 1 car, what could he do? Because when Dan gets it right on the day and he's not had like the world's worst bad luck, he's an absolute quality driver. And we all know that this is Dan's like last year in F2. If he doesn't make it, he doesn't make it. So I would want to like give Dan like a season, be like, you have a season to prove yourself and see what happens. Because it will either go really, really well or go really, really badly. So I'm going to get like press either way.
Well, I think them teams are actually really good. I don't even know who I would choose. I think I would probably want to bring in Yuri just to get him also out of the Red Bull situation. Like, Kira's
We're
getting
just taking
him
all
out.
Red Bull juniors away.
Yeah,
from
I just
Helmut
want to take the
Marko.
Red Bull juniors. I think I'd take my team would be Carling. I think, and they could also then partner up with McLaren, like sort of the Lando relationship with
Big
them.
up Trevor, we love you.
And then I think I would also bring. I would just bring Callum Ilott back because I just want him in F1.
Thank you.
So that's my team. I'm going to bring Yuri and Callum, and it's going to be Carlin. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching our video today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below your teams that you would bring back, and just any thoughts about if we need more teams